Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this month's Nature Kids Changemaker interview. And we have the most incredible woman who has been influencing both myself and Samantha all these years, even before I had children, in her yoga sessions. Yep. And we're so honored to have Miss Kerry Spina. Mrs. Kerry Spina here from Kids in Harmony, and also she's an author and a coach of all of our important little people, our future generations. So she's going to share some insight with us with 5 wonderful questions that Sammy is going to ask her in this interview. So thank you for joining us, and let's begin.
Yes, thank you, Kerry. So wonderful to have you here.
Oh, amazing to be invited.
Yeah, so straight up, first question is, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, how you fill your day and at work and play?
Oh, that's getting straight to the guts of it all. Well, how I fill my days is, for my work day, is at Kids in Harmony. I run a wellbeing program 5 days a week for little people and their carers and their parents and grandparents and guardians. So that fills some of my day. Only half of my day in person, which is beautiful, for newborn to 5-year-olds. And then, so I'm either on the floor, on the carpet, up and down, guiding and inspiring and teaching and educating the children and their people, their families. And the other half of my day has play and family and exercise and all the things that help me live my best life, I suppose. All the things that help me, I don't know, have the courage to do what I do and to show up authentically as myself and be brave to keep spreading my message. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
you. Yeah, so exercise, yoga. I teach yoga too, but I also do yoga as a person. Yeah, I love cooking. I often say to my friends, I think I'm a frustrated wannabe chef. I think I could have gone down that path. I just know it's in me. And I keep seeing these things, you know, Bali, become a raw chef, and I'm like, take me there. Or Sydney, there's some in Sydney too, but yeah, there's all the, I have a lot of passion. So a lot of things I love in life. I love love, and so that comes with a big life. Yeah, so that's what I do for work and play. Yeah,
beautiful. Watch out, MasterChef. I'm going to nominate you.
No, I just do not cut MasterChef. They're like next level. Yeah.
That's love. Thank you. I think you started to go into the next question a little bit too. Thanks, Kerry. It's like, why do you do it? Why do you do what you do?
Well, why do I do what I do? It's such a big question, and it depends on the day.
Yeah.
It usually comes back to wanting to raise that and educate that next generation.
Yeah.
So supporting parents and educators and everybody in between, to really, what's the word? Want our little people to grow into big people that have that emotional resilience. They're mentally strong, that they're our next change makers. Every single child, and all of us, every human is a change maker, but they're our next generation. They're the ones that can make a significant mark on the world, and how we focus on emotional resilience and focus on their mental strength, and also connection, because we are the most disconnected we've ever been. So just putting that focus back to connection, you know, it's sort of everything I stand for. That's why I do it, and supporting the adults, because they're the ones that have to draw on the energy to keep going because it's hard work. And I'm not, putting love aside, we love our children. That's got nothing to do with it, but it requires a lot of brave. It requires a lot of energy. It requires us to stay on our path to our values and what matters to us. And sometimes it can go against the grain and, all of that stuff. So that's why I do it for the next generation, but also to help the adults that look after them and are the caregivers of the little people, the confidence and energy and to tap into who they want to be in the world and really elevate, revere and value the caregivers of children. That's important to me.
And you do it so well. So well.
It's so important to me. It's one of the reasons I started Kids in Harmony. Wasn't just about my son at the time. It was, I just felt like I needed a place for me. I needed somewhere that I could go that nurtured my heart and soul too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I will never forget the day that my daughter turned, 5 and a half, and we no longer were coming to Kids in Harmony.
Oh, you graduated.
So I printed my resume out and I took it to Kerry and said, Sophia cannot come here anymore, but can I?
Yeah. And I said, yes, you can.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it was amazing. And as Kerry said, and my other term was always that Kids in Harmony was like my church. It was a place where I went and was completely accepted and supported and loved. So thank you for doing all that you do. Your why comes across very strongly.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
And just on connection as well. Like we're really encouraging earth connection, which is nature therapy. But when I had Nova when I was little, when she was little, there was one tool that you taught in one of your workshops or something that I come across, and it was around connecting with the children and like getting to their level and speaking to them, to their eyes, and connecting in conversation. And I was in this place where I was frustrated just in my general life. And so my communication to her was like talking to her from across the room and wanting her to understand what I was saying. And what you taught, the connection, it was a game changer. It shifted everything. I was like, why is this not working? Why are you not listening to me? And it was like, because you're not connecting. When I want to speak, just listen to somebody who's talking to me across the room. So dropping into that completely changed our relationship. So
it does. And it on a deeper level, if there is such a thing with connection, when we do that, we teach our children how to be with others and how to see others. We actually model to them these really effective and positive communication skills, but also how we are with our children is how we want them to be with others. Yes. So it's this beautiful flow and connection. Yeah, it's so important for so many things. It's the key to communication. It unlocks everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and a ripple effect, such a ripple effect. And if that's not the mode of communication that we experience growing up as children, it's like the rewriting of our childhood. I feel like my becoming a mother, and not having those tools, and then having people like yourself in our community that just plants a seed, and it's like wow.
So what happens, what I feel is when we know better, we do better. We're in the information age, and we have we can be bombarded with information. It's a choice what we take in and what we want to observe and interact with, and the feedback we want to take from it, and the feedback we want to apply from what we've observed, because those principles go hand in hand. And I think, generationally and through history, our parents did an amazing job with where they were at, with what they had. They didn't have the tools we have. And, now we have them. And, I hear my mum just saying, oh, you're just such a beautiful mother. And, it makes me want to cry because I think she's an amazing mother too. And she's just said, she shares, we didn't have this when we were growing up. We just kept, blindly doing stuff. So we have all this research and information and resources, and we have community. We have like Nature Kids Club, we have Kids in Harmony, we have all these little subculture communities that support each other, and when we know better, we do better. So it's going back to that. That's what I think about connection too, that we're getting, we just because we've got the information, we need to apply it.
Yes, which leads us so well into this module,
Yeah.
Applying self-regulation and accepting feedback. Can you share with us how you use that in your life?
Okay, I didn't use it so fantastically yesterday.
You're human.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't too bad compared to how I would have been about 20 years ago. But I think self-regulation and feedback, they're just part of connection. They're part of everyday life. So if you look at self-regulation, we are walking emotions, really. So our ability to learn how to observe and notice, if we're talking about emotions as self-regulation, and depending what we mean by that, but let's say self-regulation of emotions, then we learn as a practice, as a daily practice, and we teach children as young as possible from birth how to know what their feelings are, so that they can start to observe them, interact with them, because feelings are not permanent, they're fleeting if we let them move through us. That's the hard bit. And just learning to observe and listening to the feedback of the body, because emotions are not an island. They're not the only thing about behavior. They're a part of behavior, because then we have our thoughts, and then we have our body responses, and we have our actions from that. So our body gets feedback, we're angry, and we either react or respond. So going back to your question, it's learning that self-awareness, I suppose. And then when we know ourselves better, and when we teach our children to have this beautiful long list of emotional literacy, that they understand what frustration, hurt, anger, fury, jealous, embarrassed, there's no good or bad emotion, they're just feelings, then they can better know how they feel and what those responses are in the body as feedback. And this feedback helps us to learn how to respond or react. Yeah. I hope that was too confusing, but if we're looking at self-regulation flowing into feedback, our body gives us a lot of clues. Our body gives us feedback all the time if we just learn to listen to it. So if your child's upset, you can observe and interact with them, how they're feeling, and maybe name it if they don't know it, or they might say, I'm angry, and where are you feeling that in your body? And get them to start listening to the feedback of their own body. Yes. And what does that feel like? Is it hot or cold? Is it, if it had a colour, what colour would it be? So you just start to build upon, I think, self-regulation and feedback, apart from being the absolute pinnacle of growth mindset, because that's what growth mindset's all about.
Yes.
Well, not all about, but mostly about, because it cultivates those inner qualities when you learn to self-regulate. So when you learn how to self-regulate, you learn self-awareness, and that's a very big part of growth mindset. So if we look at self-regulation and helping children and ourselves, because when we help our child, we're learning ourselves and practicing. It's like like an easy way to practice it daily. Children give us loads of practice.
For sure.
And so do the adults in our life, actually.
Yes.
So when we practice it, then we just learn, we just become more self-aware. And that's where we become to have more of a mindset that's focused on growth and not fixed. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I noticed in your classes, you really, like, there's so much embodiment.
Yes.
Like, the children are really getting in their body and using their whole body. And, you know, with education and schooling these days, it's like they go to school and they're mostly just working from space. They have a great teacher and a supportive school. They could be, you know, working from their heart. But as far as like the climbing of trees and just the real embodiment movement aspect of that connection, that seems to be so entwined, or such a big part of what you do.
And Kerry always engages us, the adults and the families of the children, to be involved as well, because as you say, that's the co-regulating, that's the role modeling, and our learning as well. You know, that's the big thing that I'm hearing from you.
It's so true. And it's the interaction. Children learn through interaction, through connection. They learn to have a love of learning when there's connection and interaction. We're learning alongside the children. We're not there teaching them. We're there with them as a part of the learning. Yes, we are teaching them in some way and guiding, but we're alongside them, not over them.
Yes.
So we sort of power with them in that teaching and guiding process. Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Kerry. We could just sit and talk on this topic for hours, I think.
And I'm prone to go off subject because I'm just so passionate. So bring me back if you need.
So valuable.
So valuable, yeah. Well, to bring you back, I'll go on to the next question. Kerry, what advice could you share with our Nature Kids Club families about being earth carers?
Earth carers. I think as earth carers, that's a really good question. I think if we start with ourselves and caring for ourselves, it will naturally ripple in that we care for others in our planet. So that too is not isolated. Earth care is not, as you know in your permaculture principles, we know this. Nothing stands as an island, and it's not, okay, today I'm practicing earth care, but I'm going to be having really self-defeating thoughts about myself, or being really mean-spirited to myself, or not exercising, or whatever it is that you know that you'd like to do, but you're sort of not caring for yourself. So I think if we start with understanding the basic, or not the basics, they're hard too, but just understanding self-care, and then we will feel more caring as a virtue. We just become caring and conscious people. So I think if we can look at that, sense of loving ourselves and ways we can use really kind words towards ourselves, not toxic positivity. Sad and tragic things happen, but looking and cultivating those daily habits for well-being and self-care, and then what that looks like when we expand that out into earth care. So we'd be, looking a little bit more big picture, we'd become. And I think it depends, because earth care is such a broad term for me. I just think big. I think on a really basic, coming back to really simple things that for me would be just noticing when we're at a cafe, if there's litter on the ground, we pick it up. And use the language. So if we're looking at earth care, we're going to care for our earth today, and we're going to pick this up and put the plastic in the recyclable bit, and we'll put the paper in the paper bit. And it's not about just doing it, it's about bringing the language into your daily culture, making it your culture. Your language is your culture. So earth care, use the word. Don't be afraid of these terminologies and these words. Our children are smart, little intelligent people, and if we use the words really early, it becomes a part of who they are.
Yes. Yeah.
So, or even asking them the question, what can we do to care for the earth? So have those rich conversations and bring it into every day. But I think starting with ourselves first and caring for ourselves, caring becomes who we are. So we're not going to want to be violent towards the earth. We're not or consciously going to want to do that. We'll just start to learn to break those old habits. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So much of what we've been discussing in this month's program module is Zone 0, and it's what you're saying is the applying the self-care. We can't, if our cup is not overfilling, how can we care beyond ourselves if we're not finding balance and harmony within? So we've put in some awesome, self-regulating techniques and things. Yeah.
I think too, when you practice self-care, you're better able to accept feedback.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you've got a stronger sense of self. You know your self-worth, and you will accept the feedback as someone that's given it to you, and then you will be strong enough to either apply it or say, no, thank you, that's not for me.
Yeah.
So self-care comes back to self-regulation and definitely back to feedback and that growth mindset, because when we have self-care, we know we're worthy of it. With that self-worth comes in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Kerry. That was fantastic. So last question. Can you share with us what you love most about nature?
Oh, what I love about nature. So many things. The most thing I love about nature is if I'm super present, there's a lot of feedback I could get in what's going on in my life. So there's symbols and signs everywhere in nature. So like if I'm going for a run, or if something's on my mind, or I need to work through something, or going for a walk, that I'm really aware and awake to the messages nature has for me. And then I get to apply what the meaning is. So, we create our own meaning. I can pick up a love heart of a leaf and it could mean something one day and something the next, but it's just taking the signs and the symbols from nature, or, really observing it and noticing it. And, going home, if I see like a big flock of rainbow lorikeets and it stays with me in my body as a feedback, then I know that's a message for me. And, or if it has a response that takes me out of what I'm doing, like maybe running and breathing, and then I have this sense of awe, which is just really this sense of awe in nature that we really need to be aware and open to, then I will have fun with it, and I'll go home and maybe Google up the symbolism of lorikeets, or I just go that little bit further for my spirituality to see if there was if God or universe or whatever faith or my inner guidance system is nature's trying to tell me and to show me. So that's what I absolutely love about nature, because you can find, like, one time I went for this little walk, absolutely dead, barren, dead. And I'm walking and I was sort of thinking, oh, this looks really sad, this area. It just looks this was the feedback, what I was sort of getting from it. It didn't feel sad. I wasn't sad in my body, but it wasn't flourishing.
Mm.
And I found this little red pom-pom, and this is 15 years ago, and I still have that red pom-pom because I was going through this really difficult situation, like really stressful, just next level emotionally and mentally, exhausting my reservoir of my everything. And I found this little, now it wasn't a natural object, but it was in nature, and it was this little pom-pom. And I thought, oh, a little child must have had it. And then I created this meaning and journaled about it, and it was so beautiful. And I've still got this tiny little pom-pom that sits near my office to remind me to look for the signs and the symbols. And nature does that. Yeah. That's what I love about it. That's what I love about it.
That's a strong connection to nature right there. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh,
that was beautiful. Yeah.
We were just even having a discussion this morning around, the elements as well, and finding symbolism in that, and just sitting water can become stagnant, and water and our emotions, if we're not allowing emotions to move through our body, then we can become stagnant as well. And there's so many layers of what nature can teach us.
The connection.
And we are the narrator of that story, Tennille. So we get the power to write our own story, what the little red pom-pom means, what the lorikeets mean. That's the beauty. So if we're open to it, and we write our own, we're the narrative of our narrator of our own story. Yeah, it's beautiful. So stagnant water, and or you could look at that same pile of water and think, reflection. What's reflecting back to me? It's still some projection and reflection, and I can see myself. I look so beautiful. So we create that meaning. That's what I love about children too, and helping them with that they're the narrators of their own story.
Yes, that's powerful. Thank you. Beautiful. So
I wish I met you when I was a child. Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So much wisdom. So much wisdom to share.
Is there anything else that's sitting there that you'd like to share, Kerry?
No, but I'm happy I'm a member of your club too.
Thank you.
It's lovely to be in there as a member. It's a real honour to be recognised as a change maker. I think, we can all embody our change maker, the change maker in us, and realise that we all are change makers. So I think that's what you're both doing, is helping everyone that's in that club tap into their change maker.
Yeah, I just got goosebumps.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah,
extremely inspirational. And as Tennille said at the beginning, you influence my everyday abilities to self-regulate and accept feedback, and the way that I interact with children. So I thank you so much, and for everything that you've shared today. I think it's quite amazing as well, with all of our inspirational change makers. Something that's been said is the awe that we find in nature. That sense of awe that's been coming through quite strongly. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you.
And also, thank you for the prize you're giving one of our one of our participants one of your courses online, which is fantastic, and also in the Instagram competition as well. Every month we give away a membership, and you're giving away one of your courses, so that is an epic prize this month. Thank you so much for that contribution.
Oh, you're welcome.
And it's so powerful that I just stay there. Anytime Kerry does it again, I just stay in that membership and redo it.
Oh, it's good for me to redo it. It's good for me to redo it.
It's non-stop, as you say. It's an everyday skill. All of these they're everyday skills that and they're a lifetime skill that we're using regularly. So
that's the money. They're a lifetime skill, and building those inner resources for our children and ourselves.
Yes.
And Kerry, what are the books? Like, you're an author as well. Can you tell us about your
I am. I've got the Little Book of Harmony, and I've got Harmony Cards for Kids, and my I Love My Body book.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Yeah,
Yeah,
they are pretty beautiful. I pinch myself sometimes when I see that I created them. Yeah, well, with a team of amazing illustrators and graphic designers and editors. But yeah, I was a part of creating them. So yeah, I feel really lucky, really blessed.
And I have all of those in my room. Sophia and I have all of those, have very many of the colouring in books because we go through them so much. And the stickers when you still have
they're beautiful.
them. Yeah. So I'll do a little post and put those up too so people can actually see them. We've used our cards in so many different ways over the years. They really are, especially now that, before it was the pictures and just sort of using that language when Sophia was younger, but now she's 9. The questions on the back are so much more relevant.
Yeah, they do change, and I use them for adults in adult workshops. I'll be using them at a retreat in Mission Beach soon, and they're so good because the language was made for children. So it's very simple, easy language to get, and we need that as adults. It doesn't have to be complicated.
No.
Being kind can be someone that's fun to be around. It's not that complicated.
Yes,
it doesn't have to be like, woo! It's the little tiny small steps, isn't it? Thank you for sharing my books.
And also thank you for sharing your food blessing with us. We've called it a food blessing, but your beautiful little blessing that we do at the end of our Kids in Harmony sessions. It's definitely a favourite.
Oh, that's good.
So it's on the dinner table or the lunch table of all of our members that colouring.
That's great.
It's been spreading out even further.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kerry. It's fantastic
You're welcome.
to meet you again. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
You. Most welcome.
Yeah. So until next time.
Ciao.
Keep playing.
Bye.